Welcome to Hack the Entrepreneur, the show which reveals the fears, habits, and inner battles behind big-name entrepreneurs and those on their way to joining them. Now here is your host, John Naster.
Today's episode of Hack the Entrepreneur is brought to you by Acuity Scheduling. Acuity Scheduling makes scheduling easy. Clients can view your real-time availability and self-book appointments, fill out forms, and even pay online, eliminating 100% of the drudgery. To learn more and get a 45-day free trial, visit acuityscheduling.com/hack. That's ACUITY scheduling.com/hack. Hey, this is Hack the Entrepreneur. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am your host, John Naster, but you can call me Johnny. My guest today is a lifestyle entrepreneur, and he's the other half of the co-founding team behind Proofread Anywhere and the Work Anywhere Life. Several episodes ago, I had the pleasure of interviewing Caitlyn Pyle, and we had this deep conversation into her views of entrepreneurship and product creation. Well, today we are speaking to her husband and co-founder. He's also a very smart entrepreneur himself, yet as we will hear in this conversation, he takes an almost directly opposite yet equally successful approach to business. Now, let's hack Benjamin Pyle. Today's sponsor is Acuity Scheduling, and I want to tell you why they make scheduling so easy. When you book appointments or meetings, you know how challenging the back and forth can be to find the right day and time? I don't know if you're like me in this way, but I get so frustrated and aggravated. I don't know what time zone you're in. Sometimes I don't know what time zone I'm in, and I don't want to know like what times are available, what times. I literally just want a link, or I want to send you a link and have it done. And I never want to ask, what time works for you? Acuity Scheduling will make that possible. Plus, it works with existing Google, Office 365, iCloud, or Outlook calendars. Clients can view your availability and self-book appointments, complete onboarding forms, even submit payment so that you can get right down to business. It also helps you avoid no-shows with automatic text and email reminders. It's simple to use, and they offer phenomenal customer support. Here's what I want you to do. Visit acuityscheduling.com/hack to start booking today. Paid plans start at just $10 a month. But for listeners of Hack the Entrepreneur, you can access a free 45-day trial of Acuity Scheduling's stress-free schedule management. That's a month and a half of scheduling bliss absolutely for free, just by going to acuityscheduling.com/hack. That's ACUITY scheduling.com/hack. And I want to thank them for their support. We are back with another episode of Hack the Entrepreneur. And today we have a very, very special guest, Benjamin. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure. I'm glad you could do this. Just to clarify once again, your wife was on, I believe it was about last week. And so I'll link those two in the show notes. But this is sort of the co-founder series that we're continuing on. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Benjamin, as an entrepreneur, can you tell me, what is the one thing that you do that you feel has been the biggest contributor to your successes so far?
I really like committing to very specific tasks. And so what I do is at the beginning of the week, I do 3-month goals. So I'll think about the next 3 months, usually based on a quarter, where you are in the year. And whatever my goal is, I'll write it down, and then I'll look at, what the steps I need to do to get there. And then for the week, on a more granular level, I'll commit to 3 specific big tasks that'll move me towards that goal. And so I'll write those down, and I'll make sure, each day when I wake up that I'm working on, hacking away at those 3 big tasks to move me forward week by week. So I think for me, that just keeps me focused. It helps me move forward, and it helps you be specific because, a lot of times we'll get, as entrepreneurs, we'll get these ideas of things that we want to do, and it's kind of nebulous and it looks like this huge project, but when you can break it down into specific things, it makes it much more actionable and doable.
Nice. I love it. So I won't keep doing this to you, but I know you didn't listen to Caitlyn's conversation with me. And her one thing that she's not good at is staying on task. And your one thing that you are good at is absolutely staying on task. So I love this so far. So let's go into this 3-month goals. 3-month goals I think that there's something that are really, really good. I've adopted them too, but what do you like? Goals is kind of a nebulous term. So do you pick like goals for numbers, goals for personal goals, or is it just sort of a one goal that you focus on each quarter?
So for a quarter, I focus on one big goal, and usually that would be revenue based. So for example, my goal for this quarter so my new quarter, here's a funny thing. My birthday is December 17th, which is shortly before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And so I usually, but usually between my birthday and Christmas, there's not going to be much work that's getting done during that time. So I'll start this last quarter here shortly before October. So my goal for my 3-month goal is $10,000 of revenue for the Work Anywhere life. So, and that's the big goal. And then in terms of smaller steps to get that there, then there's things that you can work on, like grow our email subscribers to 1,200 people, increase our website traffic by a certain percentage. And then, and then there's a couple other ways you can break that down. So that's the way I think about it. One big goal, and then the smaller components to the smaller things that you can move the needle to move you towards that.
Oh, I see. So the revenue is the big goal, and then it's like, well, how will we get there? We could like increase subscribers to our email list and then market to them. We could do this. So you kind of break it like the steps to get there.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so I would love to know this story. I know that you like had a job not that many years ago, and you've become a full-time entrepreneur over the last couple of years. So looking back, I don't know if you had sort of entrepreneurial tendencies you didn't notice before that, but I know that sort of going through our lives, we don't really always seem to notice it. But when we look back, there's like these sort of points where there's these like, oh, there's where I was entrepreneurial. But there seems to be this time sort of when every entrepreneur has realized something about themselves, or else they found that they just couldn't work for somebody else anymore. So Benjamin, could you take us back to when you decided to join and work with the Work Anywhere life, or if it goes back beyond that?
Yeah, my story is, I know that some entrepreneurs have stories of, starting lemonade stands or something when they were young. And I really don't have any of those. I never started any businesses when I was young. My story is that I grew up with a couple of, my parents have had long time corporate careers in big telecommunications companies. And they got started, back when companies provided, and some still do, but they provided them a lot of training. They started from the ground up. They were in business to business sales, and they spent almost their whole careers at just a couple of companies. So their thinking, I absorbed their thinking basically when I was young. And I remember my dad always telling me, Ben, it's always better to work for a big company and not yourself, because you can work multiple jobs and they take care of you and they give you benefits and they give you training. And to give that even more context, my dad, early on in his career, he got a job with AT&T, and about a year later, I think he started his own rubber stamp business. And so this is back in like the early 70s in Orlando, Florida, and he was working his self to the ground, driving all around Orlando trying to get clients, actually all over the Southeast. And he just kind of worked himself to the ground. And eventually, after about 6 or 8 months, he sold the business and said, "Screw this," and he went back to work for AT&T. And then he had a nice long corporate career. So that was the framework where I was coming from, and that's pretty much how I was thinking. All throughout college, I was actually studied music for a couple of years. I was a musician. But after college and after doing some traveling in Europe, I came back in my mid-20s. I needed a job, so I started working somewhere. And for about 5 years, I worked in the for-profit education sector. So there were some schools based here in Florida that I was working for, and I was dealing in financial aid. So, students that were enrolling in school, I was explaining to them I was making sure that they were getting enrolled and getting their federal financial aid. And originally I just wanted to kind of move up the ladder and, get into management and things like that. But I really just hit a big wall I realized at one point that I don't like what I admitted to myself that I don't like what I'm doing. Probably to get to where I want, it's going to take a long time, and it's dependent on so many factors that I'm not in control of. And I really just am not inspired. Like I would like look at other job applications if I wanted to go somewhere else, and it basically looked like I'm signing myself up for another prison, is what it felt like. So it was at that point where, after doing that for about 5 years, that I started looking for other options, and I started listening to podcasts, and eventually I got turned on to this whole idea of entrepreneurship and online business. And what was new for me, the biggest revelation, and this is and connecting this to my my past experience and thinking from my father, was that, oh my God, there's entrepreneurs that are running some businesses that they actually enjoy and like. They can actually create a life that they enjoy, where they're not always working 18-hour days, and they're making a good living. And so that was just a complete revelation for me, because I didn't know anybody else who was doing it until then.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that story. What do you play as a musician?
I was a bass player,
Nice.
but I don't play it. I really got out of it, and so these days bass is a little tough to play on your own. So I have a harmonica right here on my nightstand, so I pick that up from time to time.
Nice. I'm a drummer, so I just had to relate to the bass player. It's good.
Oh, sweet. Nice. Yeah, drum and bass.
Exactly. But this idea of sort of discovering entrepreneurship, and then how entrepreneurs are like building things that they actually enjoy. Like, how did you convince yourself that wasn't sort of a marketing ploy, or, you know what I mean? Like this pie in the sky idea that's maybe just trying to be sold to you, but isn't actually something you could do?
It was just, at first, when I saw some examples and what I was hearing on different podcasts and things, it was a little, I had those, second thoughts, like you said, like, is this too good to be true? But after doing enough research, and there are some things that are really just, I guess, scams. But after doing research and looking at, I saw some testimonials from some students from this program that I went through, and they were very just down to earth. They weren't, it was just very simple. It's just like, hey, this is what I did, and I was able to build this business. And I could just sense the authenticity there, that they were just normal people who were pretty much in the same situation as me. They had either a corporate job that they wanted to leave, or they were doing some kind of freelancing gig that they wanted to get out of, and they took the steps that were laid out before them, and now they have this business. And so it was like I could totally identify with it. So that's what helped me trust the process.
Nice. I love it. All right. So your one thing is that the idea of committing to a very specific task and then having your 3-month goals. Now, every business expert and blogger talks about the 80-20 rule in business, Benjamin, right? You're supposed to do 20% of the work, get 80% of the results, do what you're good at, and delegate the rest. Can you, Benjamin, tell me something that you're absolutely not good at in your business?
Yeah, sure. Anything to do with website design and arranging colors and things like that. I already told you I'm a musician, right? So I have a artistic inclination towards the sound bites, but when it comes to the visual, I'm very just incapable. So, those things I get frustrated very easily. So I outsource everywhere I can when it comes to that.
Oh, wow. Because I was going to say your sites look like really, really good.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
But that's like, do you outsource, like, do you start with designers from the very beginning and then get it to the code, or what? How do you, like, for somebody without an eye, how do you make it look that good?
Well, okay. So most of what you're seeing, like on the Work Anywhere Life, if you're looking at that one in particular, that was, I didn't design that. Some of the colors are done by, so Caitlyn, my wife, she's much better at that than I am. So some of the color schemes, those color schemes that you're seeing were her. And then the actual design itself was something that I hired out. So, and it's really just, and even the designers may not get it right the first time, but I know what it is that I want. One thing that I think that even if you don't have a designer's eye, I think every person that has an online business should understand some of the, principles of what you want a website to do. So when somebody comes to your website, what actions do you want them to take and to see? So keeping that in mind, even though I don't have design experience, I know what people want to do. So when you go to our homepage on your website, on our website, The Work Anywhere Life, you'll see exactly what our offer is, that we help side hustlers and people who are freelancers build an online course business. And then there's something that a free course that you can opt into. So that's knowing that that's what I want. I can give plenty of direction to somebody who's making it for me.
I like it. And how iterative of a process was this? Like, I'm looking at The Work Anywhere Life as now, but when it first went live, did it look this good? Is this how it's looked? Like, I guess what I'm trying to get at was, were you aware of your lack of visual design on the web? Or did you think that your artistic nature would pull through to that and it had to be sort of brought to you like, this isn't working, man?
It's definitely an iterative process. It didn't look like that from the beginning. I think the original version of the website was Caitlyn threw up, and it was my wife, and it was okay. And so, but yeah, it's an iterative process, because as you learn, you never, especially if you're doing something new like a website, or if you're gonna put together a marketing campaign, often the what you're trying to put together, you need more information than you have often before it can be really running well. And you can't get that information unless you move forward. So it's like you have to move forward before you can get that information from your customers or clients or whatever it is, to know exactly, who they are specifically and what they're going to respond to in the best way. So yeah, it's definitely iterative. Like what you see now is constantly changing. I've actually have a list of tasks that that my web designer is going to be working on over the next few weeks to improve things and tweak things.
Nice. And okay, so we're going to move to projects, a very loose term, Benjamin, but your 3-month goal right now is that 10,000 in revenue. So projects is probably going to fit into this. And whether it's a completely new project that you need to start to hit that goal, or whether it's something you need to push within sort of the existing business already, I would like to know right now, what is your process for, and whether it's like a written process or just like an internal gut process, but what is your process for deciding when a project is worth your time, energy, and resources? Is this going back to the 80-20 sort of thing? Like, no, this is literally just you right now. Like, we know that you have this goal for the 3 months. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that you're not just going to, like, as Caitlyn would say, she's probably going to go play Nintendo, but you're probably going to do some sort of project, either like overhauling the existing business, or else starting a new course or starting a new product. Mm-hmm. What is it, or how did you go about deciding what you were going to do as the project to hit that goal?
Oh, I see. It comes back to the metrics. When it comes to the project, if my goal is the $10,000 of revenue, what's gonna help me move forward to that goal? And so, like one specific metric is email subscribers, right? Building our list, and so whenever I'm considering, planning out my week or whatever, what tasks are going to get me closer to building my list, And so spending 4 hours tweaking a web page for me is not going to really move me towards that goal very quick. It's like an ant space. So that would be kind of a task I'd outsource. So obviously, I'd focus on the things that really are going to be the highest leverage, So for example, right now that's going to be blogging and growing more awareness for our brand.
Okay. So to grow your email list, though, so it's blogging and growing awareness, like, would you think of like maybe doing like a giveaway for, they have those giveaway plugins where you can put together a package and then hopefully get a whole bunch of subscribers, or do an online summit? Like, I'm looking for a big project that you have made a decision on that you are going to execute on. Or with the revenue, like, do you just have an existing product that's the only product you're going to have, and you just need to sell more of it? Or are you the kind of person who, like, what if I just create 2 products or 3 products? Then I could possibly increase revenue that way.
Okay, I see what you mean. It could be either. So like, I have this revenue goal, and right now we have the one course that we sell. So basically one specific product, but I wouldn't be closed to creating another smaller product, for example, in order to hit my revenue goal. If I can do it inside that 3 months. If it's something that's going to take longer, I'd probably reconsider it. But if it's something I can do quickly that helps you move me towards that goal, then yeah, I would.
Oh, wow.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so and I'm only just trying to push you because I'm fascinated by how you're coming up with your products. But so this idea of like a smaller product that could be created within the 3 months. So if you came up with a product idea, but it's going to take over 3 months, would you maybe try and fit that into your next 3-month block?
Yeah, if it's something much, much larger, like if it's something much, much larger that's going to, take a significant amount of my time. Like if it's something, so I have this goal, right? I have the $10,000 goal. If I have an idea for something and it would take a significant amount of work over the long term, but that work would not move me towards the $10,000 goal, then I would kind of put that in my pocket and then probably reconsider that at like the next quarter and readjust the goals. So, but if it was short enough where I could get it done in that 3-month time frame that would help me move forward towards that $10,000 goal, then yeah, I would do it.
Nice. I like it. And so when you decide to push a project, so say it was like a whole new big product that was going to launch in 6 months from now, and you've pushed all the way through 2 quarters now to get this done. When you launch this and it doesn't go as planned, which oftentimes it doesn't, there's that struggle of like that fear, I guess, of being wrong, making that whole mistake and putting all these time, energy, and resources into it and it not working. How do you deal, Benjamin, with putting something out and putting your heart and soul into it and then having it come back as wrong?
Yeah, that's I think that's every entrepreneur's fear. If I start dealing with those types of thoughts, or if they start occurring, which they do as entrepreneurs, I think they always do. There's there's actually a guy named Peter Shallard who I've learned a lot from, and he's a business psychologist, and he runs a program called Commit Action, which I'm actually a member of. And there's a quote that I love, and he says that entrepreneurship is a completely experientially learned skill set. And the only thing to optimize for is acceleration. And basically what that means to me is as an entrepreneur, the only way to really learn this stuff is to do things. It's like books are great. I love to read, but really to learn it, you just have to try things and do it and move forward towards your goals. And the only way to move yourself faster is the only way to achieve more success is to speed things up. So just simply to take more action, right? So there's always this like kind of gap between entrepreneurs. Some seem to have success really quickly and skyrocket, and it's just they're almost like superhuman. And then there's people who kind of struggle for a really long time and don't really get the results that they want. And ultimately, there's no difference between the two people. But if you can take the person who's struggling and just accelerate their action, then they will learn more quickly from what their mistakes are, and then achieve more success down the road. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So it's like optimizing for like acceleration. I like that, and action.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned twice that you've taken programs, and so maybe you've taken other ones, but is this sort of a big part of your process? Rather than trying to fumble through learning parts, you just like, I'm going to just study this and I'll study this part.
Yeah, I think probably one of my weaknesses is, which Caitlyn doesn't seem to have, my wife, is, content overconsumption. So, I love to read and I love to learn. So there's always a danger for me of, I need to prioritize action over content consumption. And when you do consume content, be focused about it and very intentional. But as far as programs, I do like to have, if I'm like learning something big, like let's say that I want to learn, how to do Facebook ads really well. I'm the type of person who I'd rather buy a program that's like very specific and like step by step than just like read a blog post here. So I like things very organized when I learn like a system or a process.
Yeah, that probably helps you create effective courses as well, I would assume.
Yeah, it ties into that for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, Benjamin. Well, this has been an absolute blast, man. I thank you for stopping by. I just want to ask you one last thing. If we were, say, sitting down for a beer, but like 1 year, 12 months out from now, so you've gone through 4 quarters, what would make you happy to have achieved in business 12 months out from today?
Well, that's an interesting question. So if I picture out a year from now, I would like to I would like to bring in at least 75, well, let me say $100,000 in revenue for the Work Anywhere Life course. And that would mean affecting at least 100 students' lives. And I would like to, that would be meaning at least 100 students go through a program. And for me, the thing that gives me the warm and fuzzies, so to speak, is when our students go through our course, get results for themselves, and start creating a better life. And then what we have created provides a lot of value to the world, and then our students and specifically. So that's what I tell you.
I love it. It's interesting how you start with revenue, but then quickly go to it's the affecting of 100 students' lives.
Yeah.
Does that play a big portion into your success? Do you think that you stay focused on your student?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because I think it's important to have both aspects, because as a business owner, if you want to grow your business, it has to be metrics and numbers based and revenue based. At least it is for me. And then, but sometimes that can feel a little bit, I guess, cold, or maybe sometimes uninspiring. But when I think about, students and some of our early students who have gone through a program, some of them I know quite well, and I consider some of my good friends. And so when they share with me how much they appreciate our program, and some of them are getting results now, it just makes me feel really good. So it just, it provides a sense of purpose, for your life. And so that really grounds me.
Awesome. I love it. So in passing, we've got to talk about your business, which is the Work Anywhere Life and Proofread Anywhere, which you run with Caitlyn. But I can tell that the Work Anywhere Life is like your baby. So could you now specifically tell the listener what the Work Anything Life is?
Sure. The Work Anywhere Life, this is our goals at the Work Anywhere Life is to help people start their first online business. And we have a free course and then a paid course, which you can take, which will show you how to start an online course business for yourself. And we're out there to help people who are freelancers, or some people who have a side hustle going on, or somebody maybe who's never dabbled in online business at all. So we teach those tactics and methods to get started from scratch.
I love it. That's the workanywherelife.com. Are
Yep.
you on any social media we can track you down on?
Yeah, I am. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Pyle. My Twitter is, I believe it's just Benjamin Pyle. Let's see. Excuse me, at Benjamin Pyle.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fairly new to Twitter, but I'm actually was just using it last night when I was watching the debate between.
That was amazing. Now we've dated ourselves permanently where we are at. But yeah, I watched it on Twitter last night too. It was amazing to see. Even as a Canadian, the technology involved on Twitter on live streaming was amazing to me. So that's cool. So Benjamin Pyle on Twitter and Facebook. I'll find links to those and put them in the show notes for everyone. The workanywherelife.com. Go there, take the free course if you are at all interested in starting an online course business. And proofreadanywhere.com. I will also link to that. Plus, I'm going to find a link to this Commit Action by Peter Shallard. And so whenever you're done working out, running, walking your dog, whatever it is, it'll be on Hack the Entrepreneur for you over there. Benjamin, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by today. Thanks for sharing. And please, man, just keep doing what you're doing, because it's awesome and inspiring to watch.
Thanks for having me, John. This has been fun.
Benjamin, thank you so much for joining me. I really, truly appreciate you taking the time to stop by. That was a lot of fun. And I didn't mean to put you on the spot as in comparing you and contrasting you to your wife in that way, but I think it's really fascinating and really important for everyone to learn that every entrepreneur goes at this game of entrepreneurship in their own unique way. And I think as long as you do it confidently enough and with enough focus on what it is your strengths and weaknesses are, that you can be successful. That's why I'm fascinated by having the co-founders on, because we see their different approaches to business and yet equally successful. And I find that really, really, really cool. So I got to go back now. This is the point of the conversation where I go back and I listen to it. I'm just looking for something. And so I went back, and then I went back again. Then I went back one more time to the conversation. That last time through the conversation, there was one thing that Benjamin said that was so very, very clear. It stood out just perfectly. It was that one thing. Did you get it? Did you hear it? Let's do it. Let's find the hack.
Oh my God, there's entrepreneurs that are running some businesses that they actually enjoy and like. They can actually create a life that they enjoy where they're not always working, 18-hour days, and they're making a good living. And so that was just a complete revelation for me because I didn't know anybody else who was doing it until then.
And that's the hack. Benjamin. I love this. This is for multiple reasons. So this idea of realizing that you can create a business and live the life that you want and run a business that you enjoy and love and is meaningful to you and not have to work 18-hour days and be happy with it. It's like prefacing this where the idea of having Benjamin on and having Caitlyn on, his co-founder and wife, is the difference. The difference in people and entrepreneurs is it's drastic. It's the way it needs to be. And you don't need to be like somebody else to be successful or be happy. But what is essential is knowing what it is that would make you quote unquote successful to yourself or happy to yourself. And that can mean being like having one virtual assistant and making $90,000 a year and living wherever you want and creating a business or like through a laptop, or it could mean having 50 employees and doing $50 million a year. It doesn't matter. It's really totally determined by you. It's subjective 100%. And then to the second part of this was when Benjamin realized this about himself, because he's like, I had never been surrounded or heard of anybody doing that. I didn't know anyone else who was doing it until then. So this is me pulling this out because you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to get out and surround yourself, even if it's virtually through social media. You need to get out and surround yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to be doing. Honestly, who we surround ourselves with. And I don't want to hear complaints that you're in a small town or a small country. I mean, when I started, I was in a tiny little town in the middle of nowhere. I started it anyways. I mean, I've since moved numerous times, but that's irrelevant. You are surrounded by the people you need to be, or you can be, by finding them and hanging out where they hang out, whether that's in forums or on certain parts of Facebook or on Twitter or whatever it is. Reach out to people, get them onto Google Hangouts, hang out with them, just create your own masterminds and surround yourself with the people that are doing these things. They're out there, they're doing it. It's not that rare anymore. And I think that Benjamin would admit that he would have found this sooner if he had known other people like that sooner. And it's just knowing that that's out there, knowing what the potential is, that will really elevate you to where you want to go, no matter where that is. Benjamin, thank you very much. All right, hacktheentrepreneur.com/review. If you're on an iPhone right now, which like half of you are, or if you have an iPhone in your pocket, which half of you do, then hacktheentrepreneur.com/review. It's going to take you right directly to a page in iTunes where you can leave a review. You don't have to look for it or anything. It's this magic link I made. hacktheentrepreneur.com/review. I would absolutely love a rating and a review for you. There's 1 of 5 stars, whatever you wish. I'm not telling you what kind of review to leave, but just leave me a review. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feelings. And it helps out the show so much in iTunes. It really, really, truly does. And I've spent the last many months not even asking for reviews and ratings. So I'm back on that train. So let's get some rolling and then I'll get off of it again. All right. It's been fun. Thank you so very much. Hacktheentrepreneur.com is the website. If you want to get onto that email list, it's a great place to be over there. And yeah, it's been fun. Until next time, keep hacking the entrepreneur.